Good evening and welcome to the Guyana TV9 News Bulletin for today, Monday, November 17, 2025. I am Faith Stanley. In the headlines tonight, President Ali unveils plan for real-time tech-driven public financial control. New vision for Tiger Bay. Government targets training, safety, and community renewal. 115 deaths to date in 2025. Warren demands urgent national road safety culture shift. Guyana's private sector isn't playing small anymore. It's going global. Tax system at risk after ruling in Azharuddin Mohammed matter, says AG. And two dead, children injured in horrific Silver Hill collision. Now for the news in depth. Tiger Bay is set for a major overhaul as the government rolls out an aggressive suite of community development projects aimed at boosting skills, recreation, safety, and employment in one of Georgetown's most underserved neighborhoods. President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali made the announcement on Sunday during an on-the-ground engagement with residents.
On Sunday, the president walked through Tiger Bay alongside ministers and community business leaders, mingling with residents between gaffes, domino games, and cook-up pot. But despite the relaxed atmosphere, his message was unmistakable. Tiger Bay is entering a new chapter. At the center of the transformation is a new skill training center targeting youth from Tiger Bay and surrounding communities. Developed in partnership with education provider Nations Incorporated, the center will operate out of two historic buildings, the City Constabulary Headquarters and the Georgetown Municipal Abattoir, repurposed to deliver career-focused, practical training across multiple disciplines. President Ali also revealed that 3 donated plots of land will be immediately converted into a football and basketball facility with night lights, finally giving residents the recreational access they've long been without.
And we are going to immediately next week start in converting that plot of land to a futsal and basketball facility with night lights. And we started community love program here at the One Guyana Kitchen led by Men on Mission. Put your hands together for the Men on Mission. They are doing quiet. Some people build 10 houses and you think they build a million houses. These guys from Men on Mission, they have done hundreds of houses and support thousands across the country. Every day they support these programs, but don't see it on social media. And people get carried away.
In a major push for community employment, 30 businesses in Tiger Bay have agreed to hire residents under a new community warden program. Each business will employ at least one resident to support safety, public monitoring, and cleanliness as development continues. The government will supply trucks, bikes, and other infrastructure required for the initiative. Additionally, community policing will be strengthened and social support widened through the Ministry of Human Services with dedicated programs for women, children, and youth.
The government is going to put all the infrastructure in place. We're going to buy the trucks, the bikes to go around to ensure the place is safe because we want people to feel safe. You see, when we build these buildings and renovate it and create the craft shops and create the center for small businesses, a nice little restaurant and bars that will create employment for all of your people in these facilities, just like other urban cities do it. The most important thing is that people must know they're secure, they're safe. And we have to be honest. We have to remove a big stigma in the area. And we are going to remove it as a neighborhood.
Sunday's outreach forms part of the administration's broader vision to remake Georgetown into a greener, safer, family-centered city. Tiger Bay is expected to become the first model neighborhood under this citywide renewal agenda. Ministers Priya Manikchand, Kiyomo Griffith, Stephen Jacobs, and Colin Kroll, Kwame McCoy, along with technical teams, accompanied the president during the engagement. Adana Dore, Guyana TV9 News.
Moving beyond compliance metrics, President Dr. Mohammed Irfan Ali is highlighting major strategic gains in public accountability. From expanded audit coverage and stronger financial reporting to a sharp decline in statutory breaches. These improvements outlined in the latest review of the Auditor General's report form the foundation of government's next major reform, a full transition to real-time accounting and auditing.
The government is underscoring the depth, consistency, and sophistication of recent audit activities as proof that Ghana's public financial management architecture is strengthening. For the year 2024, auditors issued 254 audit opinions across public enterprises and statutory bodies, one of the highest annual totals since 2015. Officials say this expanded audit footprint reflects a broader, more comprehensive assessment of how public funds are being managed. A standout achievement came from foreign-funded projects. All 34 audits carried out in this category received unqualified opinions, the strongest level of assurance an auditor can issue. An unqualified opinion signals the financial statements are accurate, transparent, and free from material irregularities. According to the government, this clean audit report sends a powerful message of credibility to international lenders and development partners.
As a responsible government, this People's Progressive Party civic administration has not only been aggressively implementing the Auditor General's recommendation from prior years, but also proactively addressing issues as they are detected, rather than waiting until the end of the fiscal year to address them. Because of our approach, the Auditor General had no reason to warn the government about the poor implementation of recommendation from prior years.
Beyond increased coverage, President Ali highlighted major improvements in compliance with the Financial Management and Accountability Act, as well as reduction in procurement breaches. The administration attributes this progress to targeted interventions, including the Ministry of Finance circulars reinforcing rules, timelines, and required procedures across all agencies. Officials say these measures have tightened internal controls and strengthened discipline in the public spending cycle.
As we speak, the accounting officers have begun implementing the recommendations of the 2024 report. And the government has given them a directive that if accounting officers do not implement fully the recommendations of the 2024 report, that there will be consequences.
President Ali also unveiled the next phase of Ghana's financial governance overhaul, a shift from annual auditing to real-time monitoring. The new system will use advanced digital tools, including artificial intelligence and predictive indicators, projects continuously. This approach turns auditing into a proactive mechanism, giving officials the ability to detect and correct anomalies, wastage, or non-compliance the moment they arise, instead of waiting for year-end reports. To reinforce this transition, government has issued a clear directive. Permanent secretaries and heads of agencies must implement.
So we are going to move to a system whereby we will have real-time audits of projects, project financing, and disbursement, so that even during the project cycle and during implementation, we can see where overpayments are being made and have those adjustments within the project itself. We are going into full-scale project accounting as part of the project implementation framework, using technology, AI, and predictive indicators.
Together, the expanded audit scope, the flawless record of unqualified opinions on foreign-funded projects, and the shift towards real-time, tech-driven oversight signals a major leap in Ghana's financial governance. The administration says these reforms will create a more responsive, transparent, and modern public accountability system, capable of meeting the demands of a rapidly growing economy. Colin Abrams, Ghana TV9 News.
Minister of Home Affairs Onit Walron is urging Guyanese to change their road safety habits, warning that with 115 deaths so far this year, traffic fatalities continues to rise.
Speaking during the annual Road Safety Walk on Sunday held in observance of the World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims 2025 under the theme Careful Driving Saves Lives, Minister Waldron said Ghana can no longer afford complacency She emphasized that policy, enforcement, and personal responsibility must work hand in hand to prevent further loss of life. Highlighting the government's ongoing interventions, Walron pointed to increased road safety patrols in schools, the installation of additional street lighting, and the deployment of smart technology to deter reckless driving. She added that discussions are advancing to update the Road Traffic Act, introducing new offenses and stiffer penalties. A draft has already been prepared by the Ministry of Legal Affairs and the Attorney General's Chamber. These efforts, he said, are intended to foster a culture of accountability on the country's roadways.
We are all interacting and using it with other members of people's families, and our own relatives can be impacted by careless behavior. We are improving infrastructure. This is including better lighting. We've already have a light, or thousands of lights, street lights have come into the country that they're going to be a major project to install street lights, clearer road markings, and safer crossings. We are deploying, we've already started, technology to detect and deter reckless behavior and the other lawless kinds of activities, traffic activities on the road. And we've already seen a lot of success with that.
Assistant Commissioner Mahinja Singh reinforced the minister's call, stressing that enforcement must go hand in hand with education. He noted that nationwide road safety programs are being conducted in schools in collaboration with the Guyana National Road Safety Council, regional councils, and the Private Sector Commission and the Georgetown Chamber of Commerce. Singh emphasized that real progress will only come when citizens prioritize safety and follow lawful practices, warning that careless behavior on the road is not achieving anything.
Each day, we conduct traffic education activities in collaboration with our partners, and I'll name some of them who I didn't mention in the protocol: the Guyana National Road Safety Council, the Decentralized Regional Road Safety Council, the Private Sector Commission, Georgetown Chambers of Commerce and Industry, all strategic partners in that business of road safety. The only profit to be derived is what? A guarantee of road safety, not to ensure road safety. Maybe what you're doing, you think you're doing it the right way. It's not achieving anything.
Adding a deeply personal appeal, Lucille Bacchus, a co-founder of Mothers in Black, recounted the heartbreaking loss of her 2 children to a drunk driver. She urged motorists to avoid alcohol entirely when driving, reminding them that reckless decisions can devastate families and communities. Minister Walron concluded by urging Guyanese to turn remembrance into action, stressing that road safety is a shared responsibility. She encouraged drivers, pedestrians, and cyclists alike to adopt safer practices daily, ensuring that fewer families experience the tragedy of losing loved ones on the nation's road. On Sunday evening, another 2 persons lost their lives in a horrific collision at Silver Hills, Susdike Linden Highway, pushing the death toll from 113 road accidents to 115. Faith Sandy, Guyana TV9 News.
A horrifying Sunday evening crash on the Silver Hill stretch of the Susdike Linden Highway has left 2 people dead and several others, including 2 small children, badly injured. In what residents described as a scene of chaos, screams, and mangled metal, police says the tragedy unfolded around 18:30 hours when motorcar PHH 1632, reportedly driven at a high speed by a 28-year-old Grove resident, suddenly lost control and swerved into the opposite lane, smashing head-on into motorcar PAG 1280, driven by a young mother from Moblissa with her 2 babies inside. The violent impact flipped the first vehicle, forcefully ejecting its occupants onto the roadway, leaving 51-year-old Wayne Clark and female passenger Deron Bob lifeless on the asphalt as first responders fought desperately to save others. More news after this short break. Stay tuned.
Guyana Channel 9 is now Guy TV9, proudly under new management. We're building stronger with a balanced and open platform for all advertisers. Whether you're promoting a business, service, or event, your message belongs right here. So choose your spot, news, prime time, or anytime, and reach viewers across Guyana. With affordable rates and professional service, Guy TV9 is your partner in progress. So visit us at Lot 21A, Lamahar Street, Georgetown, in the Century 21 building, or call 600-5006 or 761-5006. Guyana TV9. New leadership, fresh outlook, real results.
Celebrate Christmas the Guyanese way with 7 days of magic and adventure. Feel the streets come alive with lights, decor, and carols. Share in the delicious joy of favorites like pepper pot, black cake, and even ginger beer. Then explore Guyana's attractions, the majestic kite show, scenic tour on the Demerara Essequibo, and Mahaika rivers. 7 days, one unforgettable Christmas. Join us. Let's discover Guyana this Christmas.
Want to place your death announcements and in memoriam messages on Channel 9? Call 592-761-5006, 710-5008, 600-5006. Or visit our office at Lot 85A Lamaha Street, Albertown, Georgetown, Century 21 building.
Welcome back. Guyana's new state-of-the-art abattoir is just weeks away from full commissioning. This was confirmed by Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa during a tour of the facility, where he said the project is set to transform the local meat industry and position Guyana as a major beef supplier to the Caribbean.
As a matter of fact, they had some trial. A motor has been born and they're trying to fix it within a week, but I'm hoping within 3 weeks we can get everything in order. As a matter of fact, they have already tried it out, it's working perfectly, and I'm hoping at the end of it, and when we commission it, this here will be a project that will help the industry tremendously.
That was Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa giving an update on the Abattoir. The Abattoir, funded by the government of Ghana in partnership with the IDB, features modern mechanized slaughtering systems. It can currently process about 40 animals per day, with capacity expected to increase once upgrades to the water system are completed. Engineers are working to boost the supply to 36,000 gallons per hour, paving the way for large-scale operations. Minister Mustafa said the facility comes at a critical time when regional demand for beef on the rise. He confirmed that Suriname, Barbados, St. Lucia, and several Eastern Caribbean states have already signaled interest in purchasing Guyanese beef.
And I'm hoping that this year will help Guyana to be, as I said at the last meeting, that this will help Guyana to be a food producer. They already have a request from Suriname, Barbados, St. Lucia, and other Eastern Caribbean countries to supply them beef. And I'm hoping that here, as I said, I was speaking to Dr. Waldron, the head of GLDA, who promised me that there is enough cattle in the country for us to slaughter and export here. And this here will be a high level, what we'll be doing in high level slaughtering.
Local butchers will also be able to use the facility at minimal cost, giving them access to safer, more efficient meat processing. The minister noted that the abattoir should be fully operational within 3 weeks to 1 month, clearing the way for commercial-scale slaughtering and the export of Guyanese beef. Adana Dore, Ghana TV9 News.
Guyana's Private Sector Commission PSC, led by Chairman Captain Gerald Govaya Jr., is driving a major restructuring of the country's business landscape, uniting established companies, young entrepreneurs, and SMEs to scale operations and align with international standards. The move supports Guyana's push towards accelerated economic growth, competitiveness, and sustainable industrial development.
At the national development level, Guyana's private sector is undergoing a deep transformation. Business leaders say companies are forming new consortia, investing in expanded capacity, and modernizing their operations to compete on a global scale. The shift is deliberate and driven by the demands of a rapidly changing economy. Two national mega projects, the Deepwater Harbor and the Brazil Road Corridor, were identified as game-changing infrastructure that will permanently reposition Guyana's trade footprint. These projects are expected to create faster shipping routes, lower logistic costs, and open new pathways for export-driven manufacturing. Local content policies, once seen as a protective mechanism for local businesses, are now being reframed as long-term industrial development tools aimed at building real domestic capability and internationally competitive companies.
So we know that that Deepwater Harbor is going to be critical to unlocking Guyana's full potential, because the Deepwater Harbor connects to the highway to Brazil, to northern Brazil. That now starts to connect the dots for Guyana to become the logistics hub for the region by allowing Brazil, northern Brazil, access to the Atlantic, and then for the foreign companies to have access to a deepwater harbor here in Guyana. We don't need to transship in Trinidad. We don't need to transship in Jamaica, which will cut off days, weeks off of shipping times. So we'll cut down the costs and so on. So it really becomes a force multiplier in the import-export industry, as well as for our ability to now start manufacturing once we get the...
Meanwhile, youth entrepreneurs and SMEs are becoming a powerful force within the private sector. The PSC now features broader representation with more young funders, digital-first innovators, and service-oriented startups actively participating in national decision-making. Industries once considered fringe, podcasting, digital media, ICT, tourism, and the wider creative economy are now increasingly viewed as legitimate, investable sectors aligned with Guyana's modern economic trajectory. Leaders say these emerging industries will play a critical role in diversifying revenue streams and shaping the country's long-term competitiveness.
Have a very strong international presence, and we're meeting people constantly from the UAE, from India, from Spain, France, all looking to set up linkages with Guyana. So we're promoting that very hard. And the last one for me is SMEs, right? Small business development. So I'm very proud in the private sector. We've actually developed a small business support desk, right, in partnership with the IDB, where we're offering free consulting to small businesses, right? So that makes them bankable. So when they go to industry, to banks to get financing, they now have proper business plans, proper financial feasibility studies, supply chain management plans, and so on. And that's all being done for free. So a big goal of mine, and the underlying theme will be inclusivity, and making sure that the generation of wealth and opportunity is spread across Guyana's length and breadth. So we're...
Faith Sandy, Guyana TV9 News.
The government has swiftly signaled its intent to appeal a high court ruling that could severely weaken the state's ability to recover outstanding taxes, according to Attorney General Anil Nandlal.
The Attorney General, in an impassioned interview, described the judgment as one that strikes at the very heart of the state, undermining the Ghana Revenue Authority's ability to reassess and recompute taxes. The ruling stems from a tax dispute involving businessman Azruddin Mohammed, where the court held that the GRA could not impose post-clearance taxes on him. Nandlal argued that existing tax laws, including the Income Tax and Customs Act, explicitly give the state 7 years to recover outstanding taxes and the authority to go back and correct earlier assessments.
Taxes is the lifeblood of a nation. Taxes is what runs a country. And that is why the state is invested with this huge repertoire of power to assess taxes. And the state is given exceptional ability in law and by law to do things that may look extraordinary in order to recover taxes.
Addressing the facts of the Mohammed case, the Attorney General pointed to the evidence the GRA presented, which he said showed a major under-declaration. According to Nandlal, the vehicle in question was declared at $7,000 to $6,000, while wire transfers showed the actual price was close to $700,000. He stressed that in law, fraud unravels everything, and once evidence of fraud is before a taxing authority, it triggers a duty to recover the correct amount. He reminded that customs duties are ad valorem, directly dependent on value.
Because here you have a judicial officer that is taking away from the state power that Parliament has vested in the state. And that is the ratio decidendi of the judgment. Taken to its logical conclusion, GRA has lost the ability to ever reassess and recompute taxes and is bound by every declaration and every submission that a taxpayer pays. So taxes in the country now will be determined by the taxpayer.
Nandlal confirmed that the GRA will immediately appeal the ruling, stating the authority has no choice. He also expressed hope that the matter will be fast-tracked through the appellate court. He further clarified that the ruling has no bearing on any ongoing extradition proceedings involving Mohammed, noting that those processes were only affected by the withdrawal of related criminal charges. Colwyn Abrams, Ghana TV9 News.
Turning now to some regional news, a delegation of Caribbean leaders and Inter-American Development Bank officials, including Guyana's President Dr. Irfan Ali, Barbados' Mia Motley, Antigua and Barbuda's Goston Brown, and Grenada's Dickon Mitchell, toured hurricane-ravaged western Jamaica to assess damage from Hurricane Melissa and coordinate recovery efforts. The tour included communities in St. James, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth, where the Category 5 storm caused extensive flooding and infrastructure destruction. The visit is intended to inform discussions on reconstruction funding and climate adaptation strategies, with IDB expected to be a key financing partner. Internationally, Bangladesh's former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has been sentenced to death in absentia after the International Crimes Tribunal found her guilty of crimes against humanity, accusing her of authorizing lethal force against student-led protesters during last year's uprising, which left an estimated 1,400 people dead. Hasina, now 78 and living in exile in India, denied the allegations, calling the trial politically motivated and unfair, while insisting she would face a legitimate court if given the chance. Tensions remain high on the ground as security tightens. Protesters continue to demand justice and questions grow over Bangladesh's political future, its 2026 elections, and whether Hasina will ever be extradited to face execution. And that has brought us to the end of tonight's newscast. Remember to check out our Facebook and YouTube platforms at Guy TV9 for more trending stories. I am Faith Sandy. Good night.